What's up, baddies? Welcome to the Chatty Baddies podcast, where no topic's off limits. We're bringing you the tea on relationships, sports, motherhood, mental health, pop culture chaos, and everything in between. Whether you're navigating life after a heartbreak, crushing your wellness goals, or just here for the juicy celeb mess, we've got you. So grab your coffee or a harder drink, pop in those headphones, and get ready for some real talk. This is Chatty Baddies. What's up, baddies? Welcome to the Chatty Baddies podcast. I'm Nikki.
I'm Nicole.
And we are the
Chatty Baddies.
And today we have Olympic gold. That is right. Olympic gold, I tell you. Olympian Tim Mack, Athens 2004 pole vault champion, member of the 6 meter club, coach and clinic leader. And then he went from correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, 13-6 high school vaulter to one of the very few people on earth to clear 6.01 meters.
Right.
Tim, welcome to the Chatty Baddies.
Welcome.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot for having me. I'm glad we can finally get to chat.
Yeah, chat. I love it. So I have to say, okay, so I'm just going to read this. So, Tim, in 2004, you cleared 5.95 meters, and that actually set a new Olympic record at that time, right? And you took home the gold with that, right?
Right, yeah. So that was a personal best at the time. It was Olympic record, and it was also, in pole vaulting you get 3 attempts, and and that was my 3rd attempt, so had I not cleared it on my 3rd, I would have gotten silver, which wasn't bad.
No, but that's a lot's on the line, a lot's riding on that, right?
It's not bad, but I tell people, like, I was training for 4 years for Olympic gold, and really my email for 4 years was gold, the letter N, and then Athens at AOL.com. So for 4 years, I was typing, gold in Athens, gold in Athens, gold in Athens. And then I was down to my 2nd attempt and I missed it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in deep trouble. And then I was like, wait a minute, your email was gold in Athens for 4 years.
Your email,
idiot.
yeah.
I actually love that.
So,
you're speaking it into
you're
existence.
Manifesting that.
Yes.
I was just talking to someone
that's
about
what
that.
it is. I was manifesting before. It's like before everybody's talking about manifesting.
Yeah,
right.
I believe in that. I mean, I'm a Christian, but I also believe in what we speak. I was telling my kid today, he doesn't feel very confident. I'm like, buddy, that's why we talk about every day. You say, I am brave, I am strong, I am loved. You think that, you start to believe it. I think, and you think that has a big part of why you achieve that goal.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And I also worked with a sports psychologist too. And maybe you ran into him at Tennessee, Joe Whitney.
Joe, yes,
yes.
He's like, your arms are very heavy. Your arms are very heavy.
Oh my gosh, that's what.
Yes.
Yeah. So I still
and back
had that.
then though, we were like, what
I had
nobody
my
knew what was
vaulters
going on.
now use that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was like this. I was like, are my arms heavy?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And then we were looking at each other like, is
this working?
Is this working?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I worked with him for 4 years, and he was the one that really got me to get my, the email gold in Athens. And even 4 years before Athens, we were talking about 4 years before. So in 2000, I was talking about how I was going to be walking out into the field, of the Olympics, into the stadium. The stadium wasn't even built yet, so I had to look online and get pictures of, and renditions of, or pictures of what the stadium was going to look like. So I knew because I was imagining myself walking out there. So for 4 years I was doing that. So yeah, talk about manifestation, man. That was at its best.
That's so cool. That's like a vision board. I used to think that was just a bunch of hokum, but I really truly believe in that.
Absolutely.
Well, and plus it's like I was sort of at wit's end. I mean, at the time I was like 28 and it was like going to be my last Olympics pretty much. I mean, if I'd have been, there's no way I could have made Olympics and won gold if I was like 35 or 6 years old. So it was going to be my last time. I was 31 going into that Olympics, and there was no other turning back. And I tried everything else, and it was like I have to believe everything Joe says. So
yeah,
right,
yeah.
This is an interesting question. Now versus then, you were saying age. Do you feel like that's changed where we see people doing it like their longevity is longer versus 20 years ago?
Yeah, definitely. Well, vaulting is a little different. I mean, there was a guy, Jeff Hartwig, he went to Olympics when he was 40. I mean, I could have probably done that, but I mean, I think in general, athletes are getting better a lot later. And yeah, there's so many things that, we use as even the high school athletes here that I'm like, man, if I would have just had these
supplements and stuff,
these compression boots, I was like, I'd have been like Awesome.
So just recovery. Thanks for recovery, and like even like supplements, like I know we had glucosamine, chondroitin, and all those things before, but there's so much more now. With like
and I used to sit in those darn aluminum tubs and
yes, the ice baths.
Training room. I used to do that 2 or 3 times a week, and then Dr. Petty.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you're bringing
us back.
Talk about. I mean, he was like a big time too, because like I would see him like it was just a regular thing, and everything was just got more consistent. And I kind of like was like, and I tell kids now, I was like, you have to be in love with discipline, man. If you don't love discipline, forget it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, and that's what I was doing at the time when I didn't really know about it. I was like, I was disciplined. I was seeing Joe. I was seeing Dr. Petty. I was sitting in the ice tub and I was doing my workouts. And it was like, nothing was going to get in this way, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well, I think even Joe Rogan says, you can have motivation, but there's days you get up and you're not motivated. Right. It's the discipline that kicks in. And so that just marries right into that. So I was going to just kind of expound on what we just talked about, the 5.95 meters. And so weeks later, you went even higher. You said, I see your 5.95. I raise you a 6.01. So with most people, they don't think what 0.06 is, doesn't sound like that huge number. But like, talk to us, and I really am interested on 2 things. First of all, do you remember that jump? What were you thinking right before?
95 or 01?
01. You got to the 01 right before that jump.
Yeah. So after Olympics, I'll give you a little backstory. After Olympics, I thought like, oh man, everybody's going to want to take me down now, you know? So I was like, I was pretty regimented then up to the Olympics. So usually people, if they win Olympics, they just stop. But I kept jumping because I wanted to jump 6 meters because 6 meters was, of course, a big deal. And it was actually etched in my shoes that Nike, because I was getting my shoes made by Nike, and that 6.0 was.
That's how you've made it. That's how you know you've made it. Like Nike.
Yeah. So he etched like 6.0 in the shoes when that he brought to me before Olympics. But I was like, I got to jump 6.0. I was like, I know I won Olympics. But then at that time, it was more early after I won Olympics. It got to the point where I was like, okay, now what? Now I'm just going to keep jumping. So the surreal thing was, it was actually more about winning gold, which I thought it was all about, but it was more about getting the most out of myself and trying to endure and all of these things. And that's what was so bizarre about the whole situation. And so after Olympics, I thought everybody's going to come after me. I better be on my game even more. Yeah. And then I was like, go to these meets and everybody's like checked out because it's like after Olympics and I was going full bore and everybody else was sort of checked out. And I felt like, I can say this now, but felt like I was like jumping against high school kids because everybody was just like,
that's great.
So they
going through the motion.
Yeah, they like pushed themselves all the way. And when they got to Olympics, they're like, that's all my goal was, is just to say I got to that Olympics. And then it was after that, it was like break time.
Yeah. But then before 6:01, it was like I was on the biggest pole that I was on, and it was my 3rd attempt again, you know, and I tried everything else on that day, and I felt really good. And I was like, I made a couple adjustments that you don't normally make, even as an elite vaulter. Is like you just don't make these adjustments.
What are those? What were those? That's actually
for me. It was like my run was really good, but I wasn't trusting it. And normally you go from a certain distance, and so I was like, I'm just going to back it up a foot, and a foot is like unheard of in an elite. You know, the high school kid, I could be like, move it back a foot, and it's not going to make much of a difference. But for me, even just a couple inches is a big deal. You know what I mean? If I moved it back 2 or 3 inches, and I was like, I was feeling it, you know, and I was like, won Olympics already. And I was like, I'm just going to move it back a foot.
You had a swag.
It just so happened to be the perfect decision. It worked. So
that's pretty cool. So you just had a gut feeling, the intuition. Okay.
Right.
That's cool because it takes a lot. I was going to ask about like, is it about like that day you were jumping? And I wrote this down is, you know, with 0.06 meters, what does that actually mean to a pole vaulter? You kind of talked about that at that level. And I was thinking, is it about your power, your form? Is it about, did everything just come together, that timing at like perfect marrying of all those skill sets at once and just,
pretty much everything did. And I had about a 2-month span there where everything, and it wasn't just kind of like luck. Obviously, I had everything like in a notebook, and I had everything like when I was going to wake up, when I was going to go to practice, when I was going to eat, when I was even not going to think about anything. You know what I mean? And I was just going to chill. I had that written down, and that was for months leading up to Olympics. So I had this 2-month span where it was like I was locked in. Everything was going as planned. Nothing was going to, deter my goal. And nobody was going to get in the way. And it was just a matter of continuing on with the plan. And yeah, it was all a culmination of all those things, but over a long period of time, because I did win, like, including Olympics, I won like 7 major pole vault competitions in a row, like 3 before Olympics, and then like 3 after, you know what I mean? And that is, even in pole vaulting, is really unusual because there's so many variables. There's wind, there's everything else, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was definitely a culmination of the mental part, the physical part, the writing down of everything. You know, it was mostly mental, I would say, though.
Yeah.
Well, off of that, you were speaking of just mental, writing everything down, training, preparation.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at that, you look back, what are some of the drills or philosophies now that you still use with some of your athletes today?
Yeah, like even now, it's a lot of it is just repetition. Like I will have them for one goal setting. I give them the same little goal sheet that I used, and it's not like, oh, they're going to be Olympic gold medal, but I'm like, look, it worked. So
You're like, change your email.
Right.
yeah, yeah.
That easy.
They know that story. They don't want to hear that one anymore.
Right.
I tell them that all the time, but no, I go through the same thing, and it's goal setting, and then I do some imagery with them now. And before, I didn't want to do a lot of these things because I was like, well, maybe that's too much for them. These kids, they're like high school kids, but I'm like, why wouldn't I tell them? You know what I mean?
Right.
And now I have them on they're on a regular schedule, and do goal setting. They do goal setting. We go over their goals every month. We talk about repetition, the importance of repetition, and why on a biological level, why the repetitions are really important, but also about the mental part. We have a sports psychologist here that works with them in mental training. And then we also, I still do the imagery with them. They like it because I think they just fall asleep, but I'm like, that's fine too. But at least we're making an effort.
Relaxing. Right?
Yeah.
Relaxing.
So yeah, we're doing a lot of those things, and it's just about keeping up the momentum, keeping up the rhythm, and not focus, like having a goal, having the outcome, but not just focusing on the outcome. It's focusing on everything that you have to do in order to get that outcome. Because a lot of times they'll get a goal and they'll fail, and I'll be like, no, we're not going to lower the goal. We're going to keep the goal there. The goal is still there. You just weren't ready for it yet. We have to figure out what we have to do better in order to get to that goal, So it's like, we're keeping the goal there. We have to change to get to the goal.
Yeah. Well, which is interesting, because I had another question when you talk about there was some early Olympics that you had failed to make, and then you're talking about the goal setting. So when you have your athletes and say they've set this goal or something that they feel like they've fallen short of, how do you change that mentality in their mind? Because that is also too, especially for young athletes.
Yeah, that is tough.
My husband's a high school football coach, and he tells me that just because they're still developing the mental side of like realizing, yes, it happened. It's in that millisecond of a moment you had a lapse, but that does not define anything that comes again.
And that's what I tell them. I'm like, I know, and I try to reiterate. I'm like, we have these goals. This is what's going to guide you throughout the next 6 to 8 months or whatever, because this track and field season is so long. And it's like, this is just a guide. It's like, most likely, and I tell them, I'm like, out of the 31 goals that I made, and I looked back and I saw all the goals that I made in 2000 and 2001, or 2001, 2, 3, and 4. And I had major goals throughout the year. Out of 31 goals, I tell them I failed at like 19 of them.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I only really made 10 of those goals, And I tell them, like, look, but you have to understand that these goals are guiding you, and they are there to show you your weakness and to work and to see what you can improve on in order to get the goal. It's not a personal thing. It's not that woe is me, I can't do it because I failed, I'm just going to go lower. I'm like, no, keep it up there and keep trying to figure out what you have to do to get better.
So I hear like a lot of passion in your voice about
Yeah.
teaching and influencing younger people, students. I know you loved competing and you were great at it. Obviously, not everybody's an Olympian. Earlier he said, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, no, I don't know what you mean at all.
we were real close.
We were, yeah. I did great. High school, we crushed it.
Right.
We crushed high school. So and we did a little bit in college, but no Olympian. No, I don't know what you mean. But it's every athlete. I mean, you're a competitor. You're a competitor at heart. So we love asking people. We asked T. Martin this, I think, too, and we just talked to Monica Abbott, who is also an Olympian. You love competing, but then there's also the coaching aspect that those two prior people I mentioned still do now, or they do now. Do you think you're more of like love that team atmosphere, competing and staying in it, or do you love imparting wisdom and teaching the next generation, or do those two things are they completely two different entities?
Yeah, no, I'm really into the imparting the wisdom, working on breaking things down, showing them like it's not gonna be when you get to your goal, it's not gonna be by luck. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's gonna be because it's sort of like quote unquote by design. And that, it's like you are doing this, you know what I mean? You're the one that's eating right. You're the one that's, that is in here and giving full effort. And if you're not giving full effort, then I have to, guide them on what type of effort they have to give. But you're the one on the runway, you know what I mean? It's like, it's going to come down to you and basically the crossbar. So you have to be 100% ready, and I also work with a guy. I don't just work with the high school kids, but I work with an Olympian pole vaulter, actually, Matt Ludwig. He's from this area as well, but he made the world championships this last summer. And he's like over a 19-foot vaulter. And I'm imparting some of this stuff on him too. But I have to watch it though, because he's like everybody has different abilities. And I can't just think like, oh, everybody is going to be a mental, like they're just going to crush it mentally and they're going to love all this imagery stuff. But it's like I have to sort of like feel my way through the whole thing and see what people would like, what people need it the most, what people don't. Like Matt, he's not as much into the imagery part. He's like, so I kind of stay away from that. And I had to lift a lot because it took me a lot to gain a lot of strength. But he's like he's a really good athlete. So I keep him out of the weight room. I'm like spend 30 minutes in there, nothing at all. So it's really, everybody's a little bit different. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. So it's just a matter of like, just kind of like meandering through and trying to figure out what that person needs and what works with them the best.
That's just a mark of a great instructor, though. You're coaching with specificity, right, to the individual level. So
yeah, like I try to be sort of cookie cutter in that there's philosophies that I have. However, everybody's going to bring their own little strengths and weaknesses to that.
Well, I have one more question I always like to ask this. Is you're training young athletes. And I always say you were speaking of some people's abilities are different. Some maybe less or more athletic. But out of all your young athletes that you have ever trained, who's the one that you feel like sticks out that has exceeded your expectations from the ability side and the mental side, where you look at them and say, okay, if everybody could have that extra, my husband always says it's an extra sauce, and they might not be as athletic, but they have something extra that they're giving that pushes them above everybody else.
Yeah, you can tell. Well, Matt, for one, who I've been working with him for like 3 years, and I went and I changed everything. Like, I changed a lot, and I thought it was risky because I was like, this guy's already an Olympian. And then he came to me after that, and I was like, and I'm telling him like he's got to change a lot of these things, but he bought in, and he was like, okay, and everything is starting to change. And it took 2 or 3 years, you know what I mean? So, but he's gotten a lot better. And there's like some younger kids that I worked with. Years ago, like there was one that I worked with at Tennessee. She was a vaulter, and she ended up jumping 13 feet in high school and ended up going to like Samford, not Stanford, which is a great school. Samford, but it is a great school, and she ended up jumping over 14 feet in college. So it's like, but definitely her mental ability really made a lot of that happen.
Yeah, and this is like a game of, meters, inches, like just like you said, stepping back, you step back a whole foot, and that was unheard of in that space. So I would imagine that mental side of it would be very, and like you said, the kids who are going through and they're focused on the end goal, right? They're not focused on the process, and you're really teaching them learn to kind of love the process and get better through that.
Yeah,
so I love that.
That's exactly it. It's like you got to love the process, and it's hard to get them to believe that, but it's now it's like when I was done, I was like, oh, this is going to be easy, man. I know how to pole vault, and everybody thinks like me, and it's like everybody just wants. But then I have to remember, I was like, wait a minute, man. When I was in high school, like I played baseball my sophomore year. I didn't even do track and field.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I wasn't even really recruited out of high school.
Oh, really? So that means Nicole and I we have chance. He could teach. Let's just do it.
Were you guys recruited?
2028?
2028, baby!
We might have to wait till 2032. If you need an extra couple of years, we'll give it to you.
In the geriatric Olympics.
Yeah. We will be
Hey, they do have masters. They do have masters
Oh man,
Olympics.
the silver sneakers.
I have coached guys that do were like 65. I coached a guy.
It's amazing.
He was the dean of the veterinary school at Tennessee when I was there training people.
And honestly, pole vaulting at that age is honestly really risky. It's risky when you're young, but like,
I don't do it at all. But like, it's definitely different because you don't have a lot of repetitions.
right?
You don't have a lot of repetitions in you. But no, it's like they do have the masters,
The
and I have trained a lot of masters, like from 40 years old to like 65.
But we're in that wheelhouse. We've got you.
But I've also trained kids that were like 7. So it's like I've trained kids from like people from all over like different areas. So
I know it's a random question. What is your favorite age to coach? If you went from 7 to 65, what's your
No, I think the high school group.
School.
I think I'm in this right spot right now. It's a great age to kind of plant a lot of these seeds.
Right.
It is challenging, but I mean these things, man, a lot of these kids, they want to take it to the next level, and that's where I'm at right now, Spire Academy. I don't really like to compare it to IMG, but it's basically like IMG, but it's in Ohio. And we have athletes that come from all over the world, and they come here to train. And I'm like, they are here to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
I can't hold back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're not holding anything back, and they have to. They're going to learn kind of a lot of these things and what it takes, and how to work through failure and how to keep good people around you. How to deal with failure. How to face like your biggest demons. There's so many things that they can learn.
That's life lessons for real.
So people are basically moving. Do they board there as well?
Yeah, they live here and train here, and so they're here. And everybody and the whole team, we have like 35 kids on our team, and the whole team has about the same. They're all and there's nothing wrong with liking to do track and field and wanting to get a letter in high school, and that's great too. A lot of kids want to take it to the next level and want to take it more seriously. And we have a lot of kids in track and field, but other sports, there's a lot of other sports here, but they want to take it to the next level. And so they go to school here, they train here, and they live here. And some of them commute if they live close enough. But
so I have to ask too, in every, you're in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I have to ask, we love hearing about people's personal side too. So when did you meet your wife, and then you all are now in Ohio? And you were
No, we never got married. I never got married, actually.
What? Wait, don't you have kids? Well, why do Matt lied to me.
That's what happens when you get married. You get lied to.
No, I even told him too, because he even asked me. He was like, "Hey,
maybe that's what he said."
One jumper that you were dating, because there was somebody that I was dating, an Olympic long jumper too. But then I went out to California.
Maybe he said,
and it didn't work. So then I came back here, and then I came back to Tennessee.
Okay,
did my own thing for a little while. I had my own club, and I was like putting a lot of time and effort into that, and that was like my thing. And then I came up here to Ohio. This is where I'm from, so I grew up right around here. My whole family's from up here. I came up here about 5 years ago and got this job at Spire, which was like, oddly enough, an hour from my house.
Okay.
And if you don't know Spire Academy, if you haven't looked it up yet, you should probably look it up.
I'm going to.
Oh, we're definitely.
Because my husband's a high school football coach.
As soon as we get out of here.
Well, we don't have football, unfortunately.
So what's your big...
We have basketball. And we now have one of the best the high school Coach Boyle, and he's one of the best high school basketball coaches in the country that is here right now at Spire Academy. But we also have 2 Olympians that are on our coaching staff, and we have a 300-meter indoor track, and we also have a 400-meter outdoor track. So,
oh wow,
the old track at Tennessee, the old 200-meter Stokely was
God,
that thing was.
You think back to you walk over there now,
we had like tiny little.
These people have no clue over there now.
Yeah.
I'm walking around. I'm like, you see Stokely? Like,
first
it
was like a dungeon. Stokely was a dungeon.
Well, volleyball played their matches in there.
You did?
They did. The volleyball team played matches in there, and then the lady balls practiced in there.
We practiced in there,
and we practiced in there.
Wait, the basketball, but we would do like indoor practicing.
And then our
same day
study hall for women's athletes was in the bottom of Stokely with no air conditioning.
None.
I was like, I mean, you look back and you're like, kids these days have zero idea.
No kidding. Like Joe's office was down there in the pit of Stokely somewhere.
But we didn't know any better. We were like, this is
amazing.
That's how you know you've made it. Like
we thought it was amazing.
Well, we both, Nicole and I, are really grateful you joined.
Yes.
I've loved our conversation. Do
Thanks
we
a lot.
have,
It was fun.
yeah, is there like a we can, I guess, link your information in with this, right? With your what you're doing and Aspire, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if they have, if you tag them, of course,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just friended you on
Thank
Instagram
you.
or whatever it's called.
It's called follow. We follow you back.
Follow.
Yes.
Follow.
Yes, we will tag Spire.
So I have to
everything.
get better at that because I think I can probably get because basically all my followers are like pole vaulters, so it's
Right.
Yeah,
good way to
we'll get you out.
market.
We'll get you out there. We're just
you guys got to
starting.
bump up my numbers, man.
Gonna beef them up a little bit. Well, same for us. We're just starting, but
But yeah,
thank you.
but no, like tag Spire
Okay.
Academy, Spire Track and
Absolutely.
Field, I think has a page as well. So
Absolutely.
Okay.
yeah, that was fun.
This was great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, it's like
we're-
blast from the past.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to finally connect, and that was
Yeah.
fun.
Your arms are very heavy. They're getting heavy.
Yes. It'll be heavy by the time you get off.
Oh, I have the same exact.
Cool and light.
Yeah, it's like your arms warm and heavy.
Warm and heavy. Oh yeah. And then your stomach, is it your forehead or stomach is cool
and light.
I'm using it on my 12-year-old.
Oh,
I'm actually doing that tonight.
I have the
And
same
I'm making
thing.
my
I have it
best
on my phone, and I have a little Bluetooth speaker, and I play the same exact one because it's about pole vaulting. So I was like, I still have it. I play it to those kids. It's funny.
We need to get this out there for like not just pole. I mean, obviously other things, but like even just I would fall asleep to that every night. Do you have like anything like that, like for the general pop?
I did actually. Like I would listen to that. Like I listened to that thing because he made an audio thing, like a relaxation, but also like a competition and practice imagery session.
Yeah.
So it was really about 17 minutes long, and
Yeah.
I listened to it every night for like 3 or 4 months leading up to Olympics.
Joe should have some more followers.
knows.
Joe knows, and
Where
he
is
should.
Joe now?
Where is he still stuck in a little cubicle?
Joe Whitney,
Joe, yeah, where is he?
he is. No, they moved his office over to the football field.
He finally
The indoor
moved.
football field. He's
finally
moving
moved.
up in it.
He finally upgraded.
Yeah, but he's still over there. I talk to him from time to time. Reminds me I should give him a call because we just we just hit it off right. It was like
Yeah.
nothing happened. So
We'll do it and tell him we appreciate him.
Yes.
And we would
And
appreciate him more now.
We
'cause-
still remember cool.
yeah,
and-
cool night. So anyway,
yeah, I'll remind him. That'll be funny.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you. Nicole appreciates you.
Yes,
We
thank
will
you.
let
Thanks, you
get
guys. That was
going,
fun.
and we'll talk to you. We'll let you know how we're gonna probably package it up and we'll send it out to you.
Yeah, package it up and share it with me, and I'll
Absolutely.
be sure to like it and share it with. as
Thank
many
you.
people
Thank
as
you
I
so
can.
much.
You're the best. Okay,
Thanks,
awesome.
everybody.
I'll
Yep.
see you
See ya.
soon. Bye.
Yep. See you guys. Bye.
Thank you.